So I wanted to show you all how to do some troubleshooting for your water lily. So looking at this water lily, a lot of the pads, the veins, are kind of crinkling up the leaf surface here. So the growth is coming out distorted. If you look more closely towards the crown of the plant, you can actually see that it's starting to emerge out of the water surface. So unfortunately this water's a little too shallow for this plant. This is Woods Blue Goddess, a hybrid between Nymphaea colorata and Nymphaea ampla. So what I'm going to do is actually going to dig this out, cut the root ball, dig it out, remove a lot of these older pads out here, and basically simplify the plant way down, and then we'll try to replant it so that the crown of the plant is back closer to the surface of the soil, leaving a good amount of water on top of it. Sometimes if you leave these exposed like this, you'll start to get aphids on some of the crown tissue, which can further disrupt the growth of the plant. So here's a bunch of aphids here and on the stems here. If the entirety of the crown where all the growth is happening becomes completely exposed, that could lead to the death of the plant from an aphid infestation like this. We don't have to worry about these. As soon as we get these leaves submerged again, it's not going to be an issue. So you can really see the ampla parentage coming out on this for how large this water lily is. So this is all thick rhizome right here, and one of the things you'll notice is a lot of the older roots that were in contact more closely to the soil are much bigger and healthier. You look at some of the new roots growing out, since they're not making direct contact with the soil, they're actually really tiny and kind of not looking very good. So it's not until they start to make contact with the soil, like follow this one down here, you actually start to see they get a little bit bigger in size. So what we're going to do is, this rhizome is still pretty good. It feels pretty hard. But I'm either going to have to throw this plant away or cut it and risk it kind of decaying for a little while and then coming back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this a little bit here. Start halfway. You can see a lot of the woody tissue here. This is solid, very spongy though too. It's kind of got a little bit of a give to it. So this is pretty clean cut here. Finish that cut off there. So this will go into the compost. Sometimes if you check around the base of these, you'll get little tubers that you can propagate from. I don't see any on the base of this one. Next thing I'm going to do is thin out a bunch of leaves, because there's not really any roots to support them. So I'm going to take off quite a bit here. Anytime you're repotting, as sad as it is, or replanting, I would recommend aborting a bunch of the flowers. That way the plant sends more energy to rooting in and new leaves instead of trying to make seeds. It'll kind of help your chances of getting this to work properly. Even these other smaller flowers that are still close to the crown, I'm going to come back with some pruners here and just nip these. Being very careful not to do too much damage to these other leaves here. So if you could, and you had, multiples of this plant, we actually have 3, but they were all planted at the same time, so the other 2 are experiencing the same problem where the crown's emerging out of the water. But if you could have tubers in a propagation area that you could set new stock from, that would be probably more preferable, that you just start over with a brand new plant than starting over with an older plant that you kind of butcher. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to bury it probably up to here. Hopefully there's enough left here that this will kind of leave as an anchor. And I left some of these a little bit longer to put the gravel kind of on top of, to help act as an anchor until these new roots get initiated. One down, 2 more to go, but that's one way to replant one of your water lilies if it's kind of coming up too high in the surface of the water and it's not planted in a pot. You can just chop off a good portion of that rhizome and sink it back down.